Hello, everyone. Very good evening to all of you. And today's topic of discussion is making choices. And so let's begin. So, in life and at work, people often feel like they have no choice. Boss gives too much work to the employee, and family expects certain things, and society says you must live a certain way. So, and I want to ask you all, I want you to think about it. How many times have you said, I have no choice, I had no choice? Um, did you really have no choice, or did you choose the option with the least painful consequence? So, today we will discuss these things, the personal choice, responsibility, and whether anyone can truly control us. So, I want to begin with asking you, um, do we always have a choice, or are there situations where we genuinely have no choice? So can can you please talk about it? Like, are there situations where really sometimes we do not have choice, any other choice? Sakshi is saying yes. Sakshi, can you please explain, like, or can you give some examples and about the situations where one can genuinely have no choice, like in job or family or for marriage, and society's expectation and financial pressure, these all things may impact. Can you just give some example about yourself or something else that you see that how things are controlled by situations or others?
What I think that like when we say that we don't have any choices, then like we are saying we don't have any favorable choice, like what we are thinking, then we don't have that choices because we all already have, we always have some option. That's why we are moving forward. That's why we are choosing something.
Yeah, that's right. We always have some choice to make. That's why we are uh, taking some action. But sometimes it also happens that you do not have the option that you exactly want the option to be, but you have to choose from the options that are available to you. Sometimes you're forced, and sometimes you feel pressured. For example, a boss asks the worker or the employees to work overtime, and sometimes parents choosing the career for their child, and the child does not have much option, and he has to choose that particular career. So so these are some of the examples, and do you have any other examples, guys? All right. So,
Am I audible to you?
yeah, you're audible now, Sovereignty. Yes,
Okay.
Sovereign. Yeah.
Uh, that's sovereign alchemy. Okay. Any which ways, so just trying to understand the question. And trust me, it's a deep one. It's a very deep one, not an easy one to answer. But the way you put it there, out there, that is it so that we hide under the pretext of, but I didn't really have a choice. Sometimes it is true that you really did not have a choice. And sometimes it is not so that you did not have a choice, but you chose the one that was more convenient and more easy to follow. Because when life gives you choices, sometimes the cost of choosing other options is way too much. For example, you're the only child of your parents. Now you are in a difficult situation because the job that you have happens to have very least number of vacancies, and currently you're working in your own hometown so that you can be close to your parents. The other option would be leave this job, leave this place, and go and settle somewhere else. The cost of moving your parents would be enormous because maybe there is a resistance from them. They would not want to move. Despite you being their only child, this is their home, this is their comfort zone, this is where they have been for more than 1 decade. Especially with parents getting old, it is not just a yes or no. They will not just say, okay, let's move. They will not. They will say, it's your job, it's your choice. We would not want to stand in your way, so you are allowed to go, but we would still stay here. But then your parents are getting old. It's a difficult choice. So, despite the choice being there, the cost of taking that choice is sometimes so much that we prefer not to. So, most of the times, yes, there is a choice. Whether we want to take it or not, and whether we are willing to pay the cost of choosing either of those, because one is asking sacrifices from you from a personal heart space. The other is asking you for compromises on your finances and your mental peace. Both are having their own individual cost. One who is willing to pay that cost will take the choice accordingly. In general sense, people will generally mostly say that I really did not have a choice when we are actually not wanting to pay the cost of that particular choice. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, Sovereign. Thank you for your viewpoints, and you really made sense. I mean, it was great point. So yes, that's right. Anybody else have anything else? Any other viewpoint or any
Like
other
I
point?
want to put one example here. Like we friends are planning for outing on the vacation, and like we had the different choices, like different places to visit on the vacation, and suddenly lockdown happened in our society, in our country. Then that time we can say that we had been left with no choices here.
Yeah. So yes. So we sometimes we don't choose our circumstances, but we often choose our response to them. So, through the points that you said, yeah, we do not choose where we are born, we do not choose unexpected illness, and we do not choose sometimes to lose the job. Um, but we have other choices that we may choose, like to learn a new skill, to seek support. Yeah. So, these are the middle ground. Yeah, sometimes we truly have very limited choices, like you described, but sometimes we almost always have a choice. For example, if like how Sovereign just said, and the boy like the a person has to move to another place to work, and that person has a choice whether he wants to go to that place or to reject the job offer. The consequence also you have to face because of the choice. So you're not getting the exact choice that you want to stay at home at your hometown and stay with the family. Sometimes we do not have those options. So my next question to you all is, um um what limits are or can we blame others for our life choices?
Sometimes, yes, if you are a child, not an adult. Um, we have a common friend, Jyoti, myself, Akash Bhai. Um, she is still a kid, still going to college and not financially independent. But she's an amazing artist, in mind-blowingly amazing. However, somewhere she's been conditioned that if you speak your mind, you will get beaten up. Not that she is not being given comforts of life or she doesn't have bare minimum survival things. She does have those. Yet she doesn't have the choice to be just a normal kid in the house. Because if she is going to voice her opinion, she's going to be beaten. And you will find that to be very true with traditional families, or rather, not traditional, but orthodox families, wherein mostly the girls would be said, Ladki ho, chup raho. Keep quiet because you're a girl. I'm talking about India per se. I'm not talking about things that happen outside, because Western countries, they treat girls and boys to a large extent equals. They will kick their son as well as their daughters out when they turn 18. So you are supposed to be your own everything, and hence they do allow their daughters to be as responsible as their sons. But over here, take my own case for example. My father was coming from a lower middle class background, didn't have a lot of facilities or a lot of income. But when I graduated, and I did not even graduate by that time, I was a topper at Aptech at that point of time. So computers had just started, you know, they was just stepping up. And right now, Windows as the operating system and DOS as something that runs over it. At that point of time, DOS was the operating system and Windows was just a program that used to run over it. It was that long back. I was offered a job of 5,000 rupees at that point of time, which in today's equivalent would be maybe around 75, 80,000 rupees. My father bluntly refused, saying that I am not going to take money, make my daughter earn so that we can be okay. Whatever I'm earning, we are okay with that. My daughter need not go outside and earn. I literally had to fight with him for 2 years. I did not speak to my own father for 2 years because he was taking away my choice. I was in the first year of college. I had the job option. I wasn't allowed to take it. The other option would be being 17, 18 years old, just quit the house. Just go and be on your own self. And at an 18-year-old child, I don't think that's really a very healthy option because you don't know much of the world out there. Nor would you be ready mentally, physically, or otherwise to just for the sake of a job, you just quit everything else. I complied. Okay, fine, not taking the job, I'll go to the college. So yeah, there are times when person actually, truly doesn't have a choice if they are a minor, if the person's child. Once they are an adult, probably the choice scenario starts getting changed. Yes, once you're an adult and you are comparatively financially independent, you're not dependent on others. Your choice paradigms and options, they really open up. Even for that matter, a housewife who's completely dependent financially on her husband, despite wanting to move out, the other choice is way too much difficult for her to make. In a way, you can say that she will kill her desires, and keep them limited to whatever is being provided to her. Not always wife will be able to voice her opinion saying that, but this is what I like and this is what I want. She just complies. Financial independence and dependence plays a huge role in you being able to make your own choices.
Thank you, Sovereign. Again, I really love, I think we all are relating to what you are saying, and thank you for your response. And yes, many a times we all feel because of him or her, my life ruined, my parents never supported me, my boss is the reason I can grow. So so such things in some or the other way, we all have most of us actually have these kind of thought some or the other in some or the other situation. And yes, others do influence our choices. They do influence our decisions, like parents choosing our career. uh, a toxic boss may make someone quit some project or the job itself. And sometimes the friends encourage bad habits, and society creates expectations, and because of that our choices get influenced. Our financial responsibilities, as you said, the financial, and when you do not have the financial independence, that also actually influence our choices, and it limits our options. So um and there is another viewpoint as well. Ultimately, we make the final decision, though these are the things that do influence, but ultimately, we can make the final decision. Even under pressure, uh, we still have the final final decision that we can make. So you can always say, you can, when the boss is not good or the job is toxic, you can always quit. You can live unhealthy friendship. You can refuse the peer pressure that you have. And if you do not like the career which your parent are forcing upon you, then you can just change the career. You can learn a new skill. For example, when for example, at the age of 17, there is very little freedom in our life because we are very much dependent on our parents. But at the age of 25 or 30, is it their decision entirely? No, we now we cannot blame at this age. It is our responsibility to change or plan for ourselves. And I would say that my friend started smoking. And did they really physically force you to smoke? But did you just choose to accept what they forced upon you? Have said no very firmly, but they didn't say that. So, yeah, these are the examples. That final decision also lies on us. If your boss makes you work overtime, you can always negotiate. You can look for another job. You can report to the authorities that for the unrealistic expectations that your toxic boss is setting upon you. So these other options, those may not be easy. Yeah, I'm sure they're not easy, but exploring them is part of taking responsibility, and we have to take the ownership. And always cannot keep blaming. Yeah. So whether yes, the reason, the circumstance, the society, or they influence our decision. Sometimes we are not educated enough to be able to do it, knowledgeable enough, and we are aware enough, and still we are making decisions. But when we know, the point of this discussion is to get informed about these things, and get our decisions more wisely in the future. So my next question to you is, what limits our choices most? What are the reasons that our choices are limited? Is it fear, like money, society? So these, so can you just like these are some of the things that actually limits our choices. What else do you think limits our choices?
Hello, Indra.
Hi, Yuna.
I didn't actually understand the question fully, but I want to answer it. So, can you please elaborate what you're trying to ask?
Yeah, sure, sure. So I want to ask you, like, we are discussing about the choices, like how others influence our choices. So my next question is, what limits our choices? That things that limit our choices. For example, I'll just elaborate. Fear. Though we know that what we have to do, we know that I want to take this action, but then I know what I want to choose, but the fear that I have inside me, I'm not confident enough to be able to make the decision. So this makes me not to choose the option that I actually want to choose, right? And sometimes I choose the comfortable ones that I'll be comfortable with. I'll be comfortable with my parents, with the society. So sometimes fear is a reason. Yeah. So this fear limits our choices sometimes. So what are the other factors that can limit our choices?
I think sometimes it's the environment and the expectations. It's like we want to go with our choice, but then we see what's around us, what people expect from us. We want to do those kind of things. Then we start to change our choice according to it. The societal pressure that we have, the things we go through.
Yeah, that's right. That's very true. And anybody else? Any other points?
I want to add one more point. Like it's sometimes uncertainty. Like when
Yeah,
you are doing
answer.
something and out of sudden
That's
happen
right.
anything.
Yeah.
And and I want to add one more point. I just like thinking of like when you love someone, you you don't have a freedom of choice at that time. Like because if you are choosing something and that choice would gonna hurt your loved one, then that time you may not be choosing what you really love. So it may be like it's your parents, it's your husband, whosoever.
Jyoti is saying sometimes for the sake of keeping peace and harmony in the family or maintaining our own peace and harmony, we might forego the choices. I believe resources, not being resourceful enough, is one of the reasons why people forego or don't have ample amount of choices out there. Like if you're if you're poor and you don't have enough of money, um, your choices will be limited. Also, if you're poor but you have wealthy friends, your choices will no longer be as limited as if you're not resourceful enough. Um, Again, you are doing a job, but your network is exceptionally small. You're not resourceful enough. Then the other opportunities out there in the market will not be known to you. That will make you have limited amount of choices to choose from. So being resourceful is one thing which will open more options and more doors for anybody and everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and somebody also added age. Yeah, that's also true. So yes, there are so many reasons or so many factors like fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of embarrassment, fear of losing security. So these, and one more thing, the fear of the unknown, because you have not experienced, because you do not know what is going to happen. So when I say fear, so these are some of the things that we want to protect ourselves from. We do not want to experience all these things. And so to protect ourselves from such things, we limit ourselves. And then, as Severin already said, being resourceful is very important. So money is one of the component of being resourceful. Yes, this is one of the most important, because money can actually either expand or restrict our opportunities. So if for education, for healthcare, to travel, we require money. Yeah. Um, and then as someone said, peace and harmony. Yes, peace and harmony in the family's expectation, like parents, marriage. You said love. So the love for the family, um, and the children. So we want. So there are responsibilities. Because of responsibilities and because of the love of the family and family's expectation, again, these are some of the factors that limit our choices. And then we have another thing, that is society and the culture that we are in. So sometimes people worry more about what will other people think, um, than and they think more about this than thinking, what do I really want? And so that takes more weightage, like what will people think? And then we limit ourselves, we limit our career choices, we limit our marriage choice, or clothing or lifestyle. So we need to ponder upon this as well. How much should society influence our decisions, and how much should we be allowing them to influence our decisions? And then we have lack of knowledge. This is, I think, again, very important point, that sometimes people don't choose better because they don't know better. So sometimes the career choices that we had, also we were not having, I mean, many people complain about this, that there was nobody to guide me. And I did not had the knowledge about it, so I'm in a wrong career path. And so some ignorance actually limit our freedom to choose. And a person may stay in a low paying job because they don't know what whether about the other good opportunities that exist in the market. And then we have lack of confidence as well. As I already said, people often don't apply for jobs or pursue goals because they doubt themselves. So these and there is another thing is habit and comfort zone. We Most of us, and many a time, we want to remain in that comfort zone, and we do not want to take risk, and which is the comfort sometimes become the biggest enemy of growth. And it can also become a prison, and sometimes we have to actually come out of the comfort zone. And then as you mentioned, age is mentioned by Shikha, I guess. And every time, so time and age also actually limits our choices and our decision making. We all have 24 hours a day, and the choice we make about our time shape our future. And so we need to learn to make priorities. And sometimes, because of lack of knowledge, we do not prioritize this or regret about it. And then sometimes our own mind, sometimes the biggest obstacle is in the world, it is our own thinking, I'm not good enough. it's too late, people like me can't succeed. So these things can stop us um, before we even try. We do not even try because of our own mind. And so, yes. So now I have a question to you. You need to rank these from most limiting to least limiting. But it will take more time. So I'll just skip this one. I'll go to the next question. Should we always stand?
Just a sec. See,
Yeah.
I didn't get your name, ma'am.
My name? My,
Yes,
yeah, it is P. It is P, but you can call me Indra. Here it
Indira.
is.
That's a very
Yeah.
beautiful name, Indira. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Um,
Thank you, Sovereign.
there are
Yeah.
two things which we currently have skipped. One is conditioning. You are not allowed to do this. You are not allowed to do that. That no, no, no. You have heard that no so many times in your life when you're a child that it has actually become a condition in your mind. You have the choice to do it, but you don't really have the mental conditioning to do it. You're just not allowed to do it. You don't see it the option at all. And then there was one when you said if your peer pressure is there for you to smoke and you give in to that peer pressure, it's your choice. It's not just about their choices, it's more about their values. If your value system is intact, irrespective of how much peer pressure exists, even if the peer pressure is that we will completely abandon you, if it is going against your values, you will not do it. So this one is less about a choice and more grounded in your own values that you carry. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Soren. But I want to, you are right, but I also want to say sometimes people have those values in them. So when they are confident enough, they will be able to do it. But there are certain places, like for example, a person has very strong value that he knows that why he doesn't want to smoke. But now that person is standing in front of a higher authority, okay? And now that person is forcing him. I know it is about, he knows his values are there, strong enough in certain conditions, but now he doesn't know what to do when he's being pressured by his higher authority. So this also happens. And now he doesn't know how to refuse it, because if he refuse, because sometimes it doesn't mean that somebody is in high authority is a good person. He won't even care about you. He will force you. You have to do it. What is wrong? I'm telling you to smoke. Come on, this is nothing. And people feel that pressure. Sometimes I agree the value. I know Jay, you're disagreeing even but we need to learn to be able to say no and to stand our grounds when our values are high. And that is what we are learning here. I'm talking about the deep conditioning of the people when they are not able to say no. And this, so it's not that I'm justifying it. I'm just talking about what is going inside the mind of that person. Yeah. So um, this also happens, and they do not know because they are not aware enough how to say no and how to tackle the situation. So that is why I also included um, sometimes we are not aware enough how sometimes we get manipulated, sometimes we get influenced. So um, these are, yes, saying no is seldom taught. Yes, saying no is seldom taught because most of the time we have been taught that you should always say yes to your elders, to your high authority. You have to listen to them. So these are the conditioning uh, that people usually have, especially in our country. And so these are the things. Even though the person knows that he doesn't want to do it, he feels pressured and then he does it. this also happened. Yeah, so but yes, you are right that one has to have very strong values and confident enough to be able to say no. So now let's move to the next question. um should we always stand up for ourselves, and when should we compromise? What are the situations where should we compromise, and or whether we should never compromise and we should always stand up for ourselves?
You should always stand up for yourself. Always. Because if you don't stand for yourself, who else will? And whether you believe it or not, every time you compromise, just give in or give up, you're teaching yourself it's okay to be harmed, and it's not okay to be harmed. It's okay to give up, but it's not okay to give up. I mean, yes, I'm not saying keep your swords out all the time and keep fighting all the time, but over here you're talking about should you stand up for yourself or not? You should always stand up for yourself if you're a person who respects yourself. If you don't respect yourself enough, well, good luck. But if you really, really respect yourself, and if you want others to respect you, the first thing that you will have to do is stand up for yourself. Yes, we are not taught to say no, but we do learn to say no when it comes to our values. At least I would always stand up and say no. You said you gave the example of peer pressure for your boss asking you to smoke or to drink, and it's okay. The guy will comply with it, and they'll go ahead with it. I worked for a call center. That shift was entire night shift, and you know the kind of culture call centers have. It's very Western. Not one single time I would give in to that pressure. Not once. Worked there for 2 years. I did not smoke ever. You will not call me to your party. I'm completely okay with that. But I will not smoke. It's not going to happen. This is a comparatively lesser of an issue. More when it comes to a lady, it would be since you are coming here to work because you want money, sleep with me. And bosses do that. Now, if you don't really have your own morals and values in the right place, and if you're not going to stand up for yourself, fill in the blank yourself. Sorry, I'm not going to give words to that any further. But yes, if you have respect for yourself, please do stand up for yourself.
Yeah, so when you reminded me of my situations where I have both the kind of experience. Never people have ever forced me. They asked me to drink. I refused, and they were respectful about it. But there was one situation. I went to a family uh, party of one of my colleagues. I mean, he's a senior and I was a fresher. And so we as a team went to his house, and he was a good guy. His wife was so nice. But that day I was pressurized. I was literally pressurized. I mean, in a friendly way, but I had very strong grounds that no, I don't want to drink. And but even the girls were forcing me, the guys were forcing me, and I had to say no. And I had to really stand, because even though I'm saying no, but they were telling me no, you can just drink a little, very little, this much only, today only. And it was so much pressure, and I did not have that day. But yes, this happens. And so now, um about this question, should we always stand up for ourselves, or so you said that yes, we should always stand up, and if we respect ourselves, if we have, yes, that's very true. And anybody else, any other viewpoints or any additional points to add in this?
I think we need to compromise sometimes. Like out of morality, if I say, then like you are going somewhere,
Yes, Sakshi, you're right. Sometimes we have to compromise as well, for when in marriage, in team projects, sometimes in friendship, sometimes in parenting. So, so these are, so compromising is always not a sign of weakness as well. And I also agree with, I mean, there is always, I also agree with Sovereign when she said that you have to stand up for yourself and you shouldn't compromise, because when, if you have self-respect, and if you want to prevent people from taking advantage of yourself, you have to stand up for yourself. Otherwise, people will take advantage of you compromising all the time. And if you want to, you have to have that confidence, and you have to protect your boundaries. And yes, and so these both are very true. And it sometimes we have to compromise in such situations, like for the loved ones, or for I mean, when actually, because not always two people um get what they want. So in a marriage, two partners can have very different viewpoints. So sometimes you have to compromise. But now we have to understand the meaning of compromising and surrendering. Compromise involves two people. It when always a particular person has to compromise, that becomes surrendering, that becomes sacrificing. But compromise involves a little you will compromise, and a little your partner will compromise. Or sometimes even in parenting, the same thing happens. In friendship, it happens that way. So compromise involves both the parties compromising, not one particular person keeps compromising. That is not compromise. That is more of surrendering, and that is more of the other word that I just used, I forgot. Yeah. So, both sides should adjust, and there should be mutual respect, and the compromise should be temporary, and it should solve the problem, right? So, you compromise only to that extent. Okay. And so, my next question, or before we go to the next question, let's discuss some of the scenarios. For example, sometimes, yeah, yeah, comrade, please add.
I want to adding some points or summarize your points. Like if you compromise yourself in terms of ethics, then it is better to leave it. Compromises is said to be in boundaries. If compromises leader to lose yourself, then you should be in wrong direction. If compromises leader for your betterment, if something is needed for compromise for the betterment of yourself or your partner or your friendship and anything, then the compromise will be in rightful direction. But if compromises can hurt you or can make losing yourself in term of ethics that is set by your standard diameter, then I don't think this compromises would be worth. That is all.
Yes, that's right. And okay, so my next question is what um gives people power over us? So what is it that um give people power over us? Is it like money, fear, love, authority? Yeah, we already, yes, emotions, yes. So, yeah, and the like like we were just discussing about this that yeah, people, we should like about the choices that we get influenced with, and then there are people who influence our choices, and what is it like? What is it that give them the opportunity or the right to overpower us or to make us to influence us or to influence our choices? Who are those people that we get influenced with and our choices get limited even though we want to make some other choice? So what kind of people actually influence us? Yeah, those that we put on pedestal. Like, can you please explain, Sovereign?
So if there are people that you worship, like there's a teacher, and I have seen this happen personally, has happened both the ways. When I was a teacher, my students would go and say to their parents, no, no, you don't know anything. My teacher said this, and because she's my teacher, she's right. Your teacher is also a human being, can also be wrong. It's okay for her to be wrong, but no. Teachers influence choices of their students. And now that I have a niece who's around 8 years old, she comes and tells me, no, no, you don't know anything. My teacher said that this is right. So, the clock comes around. The way life works is funny. But yes, that has happened both the ways. Teachers influence your choices because you put them on a pedestal. Every little boy, my daddy's strongest. Now that my daddy's strongest influences his mind and influences his choice also. If his father is a bit less cultured and is going and spitting outside, the boy is going to admire the father and is going to follow the same thing. But uh, eventually, over a period of time, might be that would change. It's difficult. It's difficult to, at that point of time, in that particular phase, understand that I worship this person and hence I'm letting them influence my choices. You are just so much in admiration and blindly admiring them that you never know when they have actually projected themselves and their likes and their dislikes and their point of view, and it has completely brainwashed your own choices and everything, personality in short.
Yeah, true, very true. It reminded me of my childhood when I was fighting with my father. My father was teaching me the spelling of knowledge, and I said, it's not knowledge, it's knowledge. It starts with K. My teacher taught me, it as knowledge and it is knowledge. And my father kept saying, I said, no, my teacher is right, you do not know anything. And then the next day I heard that even my teacher is saying knowledge. Then I believed, okay, so this is knowledge, this is not knowledge. So yes, that's right. The people that we put on pedestal, actually, we it's us who we want to. So nobody can control if we are. So yes, this is right. The need for approve. Another point is the need for approval. Need for approval. That we need the approval of other people, and that yes. We want to be liked by others sometimes, that my decision is liked by other people, my choices is liked by others in the family or my friends. And so this need for approval is gives takes away sometimes takes away the power for me to make my choices. I give the power to those people. And so um, like for example, dressing to fit in, saying yes even when we want to say no, and sometimes we stay quiet because everyone else disagrees. So this is one of the reason. And then the another thing is the fear again. Nobody can control us if we are no longer afraid of what they can do. So sometimes, like fear of losing a job, fear of rejection. So all these things come because we know that they have the power to that they can do something. So this is one of the things that they are more powerful. And then money, the one who has more resources, um, because money creates opportunities. And but at the same time, when we are dependent so much on money, it can also create pressure. So, money is another thing that gives power to the other people. And then, as we said, love and emotional attachment is also a reason. Um, so we get influenced. So people we care about influence us more than the other strangers. We can say no to the strangers more, but it becomes difficult to say no to the people that we care about, that we love, or sometimes the husband, sometimes the relatives, or the our own parents as well, parents, best friend, and partner. So they we give power to them, and sometimes when we want to say no, or we want to make some other decision, but again we limit ourselves. Okay. And then people who are more powerful, or we give power to, is the authority. So we usually obey our bosses, our teachers, our parents, government, and religious leaders. So these are the authorities. And so, because out of respect, we are more accountable to them, and so we give them the power over our decisions sometimes. And then knowledge. Sometimes, whoever knows more, if we agree that yes, this person knows more than me, and they might influence my decision. So this is how we also think. Like a doctor knows more than me about my health. So I will, even though I know nothing about these medical there's terms and all, and so I will obey him whatever he says. I just know that he knows better than me. I do not even know what kind of doctor he is. That so for that moment, I give him the power to give me any medicine. And then the lawyers, if you are stuck in any case, you believe that lawyer, you give the power to the lawyer to how he wants to how he wants your case to go forward. So and then financial advisors also. So so they can influence our decisions. And then emotions, as we had already talked about. Yes, emotions like anger. So it's not the other person who controls, but it's our emotions like our anger, our jealousy, our ego, our guilt. These things control our decisions or limit our choices because we are controlled by these emotions, and sometimes we do not make very right or very rational decisions or choices. And a simple insult can ruin someone's entire day. Um, because of the emotions, because we got triggered by certain emotions. And so this, and then dependence, financial dependence, emotional dependence, social dependence, I mean society. And so these things also influence us. Yeah. And so yes.
Can
So
I add some?
yes, sure, sure.
Okay, so yeah, most of yeah, you have said most of them, but one thing is like wisdom. I think wisdom is the most uh, controllable thing. Like someone's if if he is wise about something and uh, about like psychologically and he knows things up more than us. So, it is more probabilistic like him to control us. Like, you know, uh, so we don't have to be like just mediocre on some things. Like, for example, in our field, uh, whenever you are in your field of study or work, so I think being an expert on that and like uh, don't just be mediocre. So pupils may not be control us, and uh, sometimes other pupils also use this as an advantage if they see that uh, you are just know a little about that thing. So uh, they definitely uh, leads you wherever you wherever they want in your mind. So I think wisdom is like crucial.
Yes, but you are right. Thank you for your point. And I just want to thank you all for the participation. And I really, really enjoyed this today's discussion. And it was really great. Anybody else wants to add anything? Um, please, before I conclude, please add your points.
Your group should make a point that anybody and everybody who's in the conversation will at least have to say one point, irrespective of what they are saying, even if they are just repeating something, but they have to speak their mind. If you're just allowed to come and listen, take part. Sorry for being that blunt, but
So true.
this happens a lot. Like maybe two or three or maximum four people speak, and rest everybody is just quietly listening. Take part. Why just listen?
Yeah, guys. Thank you, Sovereign. This is what this is a very good idea. Everyone has to say something, whatever, either something that either you got from this conversation or something that you have some other points to talk about. Please add something, guys. JS, Pavani, Deltic, please speak up. Amit.
I was actually hearing all the conversation, but I got network issue and missed most of the parts, so I actually missed out the whole thing. Otherwise, I would add many points to the discussion. I came after a long time.
No worries, Yuna. Okay, yeah, sure. I know you speak, and I wish you were part of this conversation more so that we could have heard your point of view as well.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, because I would have added like great points to the discussion.
yeah, sorry. Do you want to add some points now?
I actually missed up the whole part, so I don't know what was the discussion going around.
Okay,
When
all
I
right.
left,
No,
I added a few.
okay, no problem. Okay, anybody else? Or we will have Soldier, the greatest speaker and uh, of this group that we want to listen from. Soldier, please conclude.
Okay. Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm audible?
Yes, Soldier, good evening, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. So I joined late. I was listening to you, and you really presented some good points. And in a nutshell, I think it was mainly about maintaining some boundaries and living our life according to some principles and protocols, so that we cannot live like those cowards, those yes men, those just who are just followers, who don't know how to act bravely, how to say no. So in nutshell, it was that. I think I don't have more points to add. You have already mentioned majority of the things, and others have also contributed to it.
Sakshi is not happy with your response. She wants to listen more from you.
If you want to listen to something, you can ask me question.
Sakshi gave that response I read in the comment section, so I understood that she's not happy with what you said. She wants to listen more.
I can listen for millions of the seconds, but you have to ask me question.
Sakshi, do you have questions from
No,
Soldier
actually,
for Soldier? Yeah.
no, I don't have any question.
Yeah, earlier this sovereign was asking to all of these people who are currently here to talk so that it can be engaging VC, more engaging VC, and everyone will be more attentive. So I believe everyone should talk, at least to present 1, 2, 3 points. If they are spending here 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour, they should learn something. They should learn also how to speak very well. I think this is the best platform for all of those who want to speak fearlessly.
That's right. So, I would like to conclude this discussion first. So, from whatever we have discussed, I want to point out that life doesn't always give us choices that we want, but it usually gives us choices. And wisdom is recognizing them, and uh, courage is accepting their consequences. So we need to know what are the choices that are available with us, and we need to recognize them with our wisdom and accept the consequence when we make those choices. There will definitely be some consequences of it. Sometimes the consequences would not be the one that we are expecting, and we do not want those things to happen, but we will have to accept if we are choosing some choices. And another thing is, other people can influence our opportunities, and they can also create obstacles and sometimes even cause real harm. But if we keep giving them complete control over our future, we also give away our power to change it. So be wise to understand it, and our circumstances influence our choices, but but they don't the circumstances don't define all of our choices. And so we should stand up for ourselves, and standing up for ourselves earns self-respect, and compromising wisely earns trust. So we need to be wisely compromising. Do not keep compromising. Wisely compromise where we should be compromising, and that is maturity. And we should know the difference between compromising and standing up, when to compromise and when to not. And the greatest power is not to control other people. It's reaching a point where other people's opinion, pressure, or approval no longer controls your decisions. And compromise builds relationship. Self betrayal slowly destroys your relationship with yourself. So sometimes do not compromise to that extent that you betray yourself. So know the difference. And thank you everyone for the participation. And you all have a great night. Um, I will just end this discussion here. Okay, Comrade wants to add something. Yeah, please go ahead, Comrade.
I just want to add something that might be not acceptable for everyone, but I really feel a great thing like making choice. Life does not give choices. It give you like a feeling or some moment. So I feel choice is the courage to decide what those moments will become. Like we don't have more option. We have limited. Reality, if we talk, life doesn't present us with option, but it does not guarantee ideals choice. Guarantee a limited choice. The central idea can be expressible, but not not accurate that we wanted, like our own, our own thinking. But choices we want, it give you circumstances, and I really feel if you decide to uh, if you decide to choose something, it not be ideal, but you can must create your own path too from these choices or options given by life. We have to make our own path with the limited choices. That is the main thing I thinking.
I disagree with you, sorry. Life always gives choices. It's our we do not have a gut to accept no. We are always afraid of taking decision no. Life always gives choices. I have always the choices to take the decision, and I make my family to make this agree with me no matter how disagree they are. Being a daughter, I know how to convince my papa, I know how to convince my mother, I know how to take a stand for myself. And to be honest, being a daughter, I have seen a lot of restriction in my life. It doesn't mean I have never a choice. And to be honest, at this position, I have never a regret of any decision. And I do not feel like my family has compelled me to take certain decision. I always make my decision. Yeah, there are certain restrictions. In fact, I would like to say that most of the parents say you don't have to go there and there. My father was the first one to say, why don't you? I have to go 30 kilometers away from this home, and you are going to, you have to just take 2 minutes to change the rickshaw and 10 minutes to reach a certain stationery to buy your books. Why are you not going? Why are you afraid? And I am glad that my father always make me feel confident. But life has always choices. I disagree. When you do not have any choice, you have still a choice of saying no.
Uh,
I do
okay,
not want to do
I
just
certain thing.
I
I wouldn't do it.
wait. I
let
okay.
me
I
add some
completely
idea,
agree.
comrade.
Wait, Betha. I want to. just say something on the point. I completely agree with your point that we have choices. We have limitless choices. But the question is, did we choose? Life may not give you the choices you want, but it almost
So make
always give you choices. Wait, let maybe completed me
okay,
first, then
okay, consider.
then talk to your argument. The real challenge is choosing among the imperfect option. The option given by life is always not perfect. It will be a like if we go to a destination, life gives a choices of a long path. But if you added the dotted, then we can make imperfect choices into perfect option. That is my whole point. I don't say life don't
That's
give
the fear
our
of
choices, but I
that 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 is the fear of being failure. Choice having choices is different thing, and fear of being failure is different. You are getting confused between two different things. If I want to
Uh,
prepare for certain job, I am taking action for that, and I am going and preparing for it. But it doesn't mean I would be success or I will be failure. I have taken choices. I'm working on it, and rest is the destiny and God blessing. So choice, I always have a choice. But the things I strongly believe that I do not have a fear of failure. Either I have seen a lot of failure, or I am strong or resilient enough that I do not care about the result. But I believe there are always choices. And after
yes, I have
spending 2 decades, yes,
no
after
no
spending
continue.
2 decades,
Just
after spending 2 decades of your life in this world, and you are not able to learn how to behave, how to act, how to make people manipulate. It's not a bad thing for me if I have to manipulate the circumstances for my favorable. I will do, because the person who know how to adapt is the only one who is going to win ultimately. So you have to make the circumstances favorable for you. Crying at your place and regretting, these things are never going to make things favorable for you. Sorry, but you are not in the right position. After spending 2 decades, literally you have spent 2 decades, and you are still complaining that the society does us, and my parents are saying, my brother is saying, I do not care about what they say. I know how to manipulate them, how to not manipulate, but I know how to convince them. I know that last weapon is fear. I can cry for half an hour. My papa will agree to every condition I want. My mama also agree, and that's about my brother. I don't care what does he feel. He's younger than me. I'm elder. My decisions are the first one to be considered. And being a girl, I'm able to take this level of extent decision. Why you are not able to take? Being a male, and this society is patriarchy, not a matriarchy. So why are you not able to take decision? That's the question you should ask yourself.
can
Sorry
you
if I
repeat the
hurt
last
you,
line?
but
No.
being a
You just
being a male, you are not being a male in a patriarchy society, or you are not able to take a stand for yourself, make the decision, make the choices, then it's a failure. Sorry, but it's the big failure. And the P had said that we are not able to take the decision about, not able to say no. I don't know about the in the metro cities what happened, but here in I'm talking about the boys. They always have a choice to say no. They are not need to teach that you have to say no to certain things. I'm talking about the male. If they can take the stand for the, and they can go against their parents, they can marry, they can do court marriage and tell their family after 2 years of their marriage that I have married to a certain girl. I wanted to marry this person, and they can extend the relation, extend the no decision of getting married to a 30, 34, 35, just to make their family to agree their condition that I have to marry this girl. Aren't they able to say no to the drugs, alcohol, and those things? I don't know about the girls because my society, my culture is little bit, not little bit, it's highly ethical, highly spiritual place. So girls and the boys are do not practice this much of drug abuse, alcohol here. They are very spiritual, so they have certain boundaries. I not don't know aware about the foreign or the metro cities, but over here, these things I have not been prepared practiced. But still, I believe the boys are taking too much, going to a certain extent that we are cannot believe that they are going against their parents. Why don't they take action, decision against the for strangers? They can they can hurt their parents. Let leave whom they are the most pillar of someone fundamental pillar is the family. They can hurt them. They can take against them decision against them. Why don't they go against the society, against the boss to say no? I wouldn't do the job. I wouldn't do take the drugs. If they are doing certain thing and saying that the peer pressure is there and someone is forcing me, then I am saying it's not the peer pressure. It's their own way. Sorry if I hurt someone, but it's the truth what I believe.
Your point is valid. I don't argue with the point. But my analysis are stuck in between. Life may not give you the choices you want, but it almost give you choices that available. The real challenge is choosing among imperfect choices. Life always gives us choices, even if they are not the choices we want. We don't choose where we born, the challenge we face, or the unexpected event that happens. However, there is many problem in life. But we wait, let's complete my point. We always have a choice in how to respond, but we responded in our own style. A student can choose study or procrastinate. A student still have choice. Let's study, let's procrastinate. A person facing failure can choose to quit or try again. And someone experiencing hardship can choose to become bitter or grow, but it rarely removes our ability to choose. Therefore, it is our choices, not the circumstances, that ultimately shape our future. Life may not give the choices we want, but it almost gives the circumstances. That is my whole conclusion. You can continue with it. I really agree with your point, but my perspective is different. I don't. Everybody have their own perspective. I don't argue. And if there is no different perspective, then there is no difference between among us. And we are the human. We everybody is unique person. I think we have a unique ability to understanding everything. So that is the whole thing. I related them.
Okay, here, like, uh, comrade, you mentioned good points. Like, from what you say, what I understand is like, uh, we have limited access. So, Jace, when he said this, limited access to choice, I think the choices for today is depends on the previous choices that we make, like yesterday. So let me give you example. For example, if you are in high school and you have the choice to study hard or just to study uh, and not that much, and just you can study while chilling out with your friends, and that's also your choice. So this is full access, but you choose, for example, you choose to chill out with your friends and you study the night before the exam, and you barely pass the exam, and at this moment you have also choice to choose which university do you study or enroll. But remember, you can't, you will never join the top university uh, of your country, because it depends on the previous choice that you made. So at this point, the choices are limited. So you can choose whatever you do, you know. So I understand in this way your perspective. So even at that point, we have full choice, even if we don't go to the top university, but we have the choice to be a great uh, entrepreneur, or go to any university and study hard and be top at that university. So in this way, yeah, we have choice. Also, we have limited choice, I think.
Yeah, I want to add something as well. Yes, I agree that sometimes there are limited choices that we have, but it is only for that particular moment. For example, the example I have already given you, that when we are dependent on our parents, we have very little freedom to choose our career sometimes. When the parents are very particular about what kind of career you have to choose, and you have to accept it sometimes, and somehow this happens. But after some time, like when you are independent, you are already earning, you are in that field. Like, for example, you are 25 now, or you're 30, then now if still it is entirely their decision, then that's your responsibility. So I agree that you were the choices that you had were limited at that time, but for longer run you cannot say that. And for example, you have a boss who makes you work overnight, okay, and for time being you have to work overnight, because you have loans, you have some responsibilities at home, and you really want money. But you have another option, you have choices. You do not want to work in that field, in that job, because it is becoming very toxic for you. You cannot do that. So now you can negotiate, and you can also change your job. But now, because you cannot change your job, you cannot change the job immediately, because you actually are dependent. I mean, for the voices breaking. Okay. Is it breaking for everyone? Okay. So now you have the option. You do not have the option to change your job immediately, but you have the option to upskill yourself and for some other job. And meanwhile, you apply for it. And at the same time, because you do not want to continue working in that, you will, for time being, you will have to work overnight. And then you have the option after certain period, so you have to make some choices. It cannot be immediate sometimes. Yes, you have limited option for that particular time, but it cannot be limited all the time. Or if you keep saying this, then you are giving your power to someone else, that they can decide. This can be an excuse, and anyone can give this excuse. So you have to search for ways for yourself. How can I come out of this situation? And there will always be some choices that you can make to come out of that.
I also want to add something from the book of David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me. In the book, I have read that Goggins don't have choice to run, but he make decision to run after paining in the leg. He almost he even the conclusion. I think if we don't have choices surrounding our direction or aim, we have to make or take decision to achieve our aim. From David Goggins' mindset, I think, because I really admire The pain of David Goggins. He really, can you repeat? Okay. Uh, from the book Can't Hurt Me. In the book, it is written that David Goggins explained the pain. Like David Goggins don't have option for run. Doctor advise him to take rest and he can't run again. But he make decision or take a risk to running every day after the pain after the pain of after feeling so much pain in the leg, but he continued it. So the conclusion I think from the book I take, if we don't have option or choices, let's make our own direction with current circumstances. Try to achieve something that we want. And if we really want to achieve something, then I don't think anybody can stop you. Thank you.
All right, guys. So, this is all about today's discussion. I have already given the conclusion, and then you added, comrade. Thank you so much for your point, and the discussion. Thank you, everyone, for all of your points. Actually, I really enjoyed, and it was really a fruitful discussion, and it was um, really nice to listen to your point of views. And I'll just end this session here. I'll just end the recording. If